hair like only answers to Jesus and Redken. Alright, enough of this. This is gonna go somewhere. I don't know if you joined in on my live last night, but it seems like when I'm having these deep, like, philosophical, psychological, theological, like, internal questioning times, it seems it correlates a lot with what Ryan Upchurch is going through, which blows my mind. Maybe it's because we're very similar in a lot of ways. Maybe it's because we have the same birthday. Maybe it's because we were raised in a very, close proximity to each other. I just find this so strange. So, listen to this. And if you were in my live last night, just be prepared. It's a little odd. It's a little odd what he's focused on right now, and what I was focusing on last night. Here we go.
Dude, is it just me, or is the internet turning into a shitty human zoo? I feel like I used to be able to scroll and, like, find some cool shit all the time. Now you have to, like, really search to find cool shit.
Yeah, it is turning into a zoo because we are being reverted back in nature to being animalistic idiots that have to gesticulate instead of communicate. Which point blank says, we've forgotten how to be humans. We no longer can use our language and our nonverbal cues in our face, where we've learned to communicate over the years. We have to go back to resorting to huge animalistic dominance displays. And the next thing we know, we're going to be flinging poo.
The people who whip their phone out, they're like, I have my phone. I'm recording you. I'm recording you. Me recording you. You getting recorded by me.
There's nothing to add to that. Society is tumbling down the crapper. And so to sum it up, what's happening in that video? He's grieving. He's grieving. He's mourning. And people think, well, why are we grieving things? Well, you grieve things that you don't understand that you grieve. You grieve changes in life. You grieve when your favorite restaurant shuts down. We grieve things. And right now, Ryan, who is extremely emotional and expresses his emotion through beautiful lyrics and beautiful songwriting skills and beautiful picturesque creations that happens with his words and his melodies, he's struggling. He's struggling because the picture that he sees coming from what society is sending him, which he interprets probably differently than most, they're not the pictures that he's used to society generating, that he's used to the communities generating. And so he's absorbing this negativity, and as someone that absorbs it, he's probably very much an empath, very, very much affected by emotions. I understand. I'm also a Gemini. We have the same birthday, and I get it completely. Like, sometimes I think, like, oh God, Jesus, I apparently sent him my mental vibe, because I'm like, shit, you notice this? Frig, and then, like, in 2 days, there comes a video where he's like, did you all see this crap? So, I'm glad that someone else sees it, because sometimes I go months without anyone else understanding what I'm seeing, and that scares the absolute shit out of me. But he's grieving. He's grieving the loss of the world he knew. He's grieving the loss of the society he once knew. He's grieving the loss of the interactions he once had. He's grieving the loss of the vibes and positivity and happiness and ability to communicate and that flow that you used to have with the society and people just because. It just happened naturally. Those are not happening naturally a lot anymore. We're getting a lot of crap. We're getting a lot of defense mechanisms, a lot of dominance and posturing, even on the internet, and it's just, yeah, I feel it too. I wish it would stop. And I wish people would collectively pull their head out of their hind ends. And there's so many people that have it shoved so far up there that when it happened, we would all hear it. And we would know the world could start healing. But I mean, until you know that your head's up your hind end, can't help you. And as a last thought, because you know, I've got to leave y'all with something super smart, because you know y'all think I'm super smart. I'm not super smart, but y'all think I'm super smart. So you know, I'm going to leave you with something super smart.
War is continuation of state policy, right? So if you want successfully to implement your state policy, and you start fighting, this is the most idiotic way to do it. The highest art of warfare is not to fight at all, but to subvert anything of value in the country of your enemy, until such time that the perception of reality of your enemy is screwed up to such an extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy, and that your system, your civilization, and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable, then at least feasible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically what subversion is. As you see, not a single mentioning of blowing up bridges. Of course, Sun Tzu didn't know about blowing up bridges. What subversion is? Basically, it consists of 4 periods, time-wise. If we start from here and go this way, time, right? This is the beginning point. The first stage of subversion is the process which is called, basically, demoralization. It says for itself what it is. It takes from, say, 15 to 20 years to demoralize a society. Why 15 or 20 years? This is the time sufficient to educate one generation of students or children. One generation. One lifetime span of a person, a human being, which is dedicated to study, to shaping up the outlook, ideology, personality. Influencing, or by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct contacts, doesn't really matter. I will describe them later. Of various areas where public opinion is formulated or shaped. Religion, educational system, social life, administration, law enforcement system, military, of course, and labor and employer relations, economy. Okay? 5 areas. I will not write them down because we will not have enough space. Sometimes when I describe all the methods, students ask me question, are you sure this is the result of the Soviet influence? Not necessarily. You see, the tactic of subversion, about which I'm talking, is similar to the martial art.
I think that speech he did was actually in the 80s, but the information has been around since the Cold War. You have to understand that they fine-tuned it and it's being used. So, go watch that. Put a wrinkle in your brain. Understand the deception and what's going on and try to break away from it. And that doesn't mean you have to follow anyone specifically. It just means challenge the norm, question everything, research, educate, internalize, reflect. Be authentic to yourself, but find your truth and don't swallow anyone else's.